Morning, Tammy Stewart here at Health for a Purpose. I was visiting with a friend this week who said I need to work on counting some calories. That was the next step in their healthy diet plan. And I realized maybe I need to teach on that again, because here's what I first want to ask you, and I would love for each of you to comment below if this has ever happened to you. Have you ever counted calories and not lost a pound? Seriously, I want you to type in yes, comment, give me a post, because there's so much power in knowing that you aren't the only one who has ever experienced that. It's not your fault if that has happened to you. It's because that's the wrong thing to do. It's not about calories. So here was the myth decades ago. You would count calories. Let's say I've eaten this many calories. And then you would take out your just basal metabolism. How many calories does it take for me to just live today? And then you would take out how many calories you used in exercise. And have you ever felt like maybe you should be a black hole by now because you're in the deficit so much and yet you're not losing weight? So just your personal experience should tell you, if you've experienced that, this is not accurate. This is not the cause of the problem. Therefore, it's not the solution. Weight is a hormone issue. So hopefully right now, you have seen enough of my posts that you have a picture in your mind of the cell. But I'm going to go ahead and draw it in case we have maybe some new listeners. So your cell, I'm going to keep this really simple, 2 layers of fat on the outside of your cell. Now here's a shocker. Most of that is saturated fat and cholesterol. You need to be eating healthy fats, not unhealthy fats. There are some saturated fats that are unhealthy. You need to be eating healthy saturated fat. You've also got receptors on the outside of the cell. Every time I draw that, I think of my grandparents. My grandmother could speak perfectly, and my granddaddy could hear perfectly. But sometimes he didn't hear a word she said. His renal receptors were burned out. And I love my grandparents. I had some of the most incredible grandparents. And that's what motivates me to do whatever it takes for me to be healthy when I'm 80 or 90 or whenever God calls me to heaven, so that I can enjoy my life with my kids and my grandkids and my great-grandkids. That's what drives me. And that's why I teach you, so that you can have the same thing. Because, you know, America is the sickest country in the world. So if you do what everybody else is doing, what are you going to get? What everybody else is getting. If you want to get different results, you have to do things differently. So this is different. This is different for you. So when your cell is inflamed, it's kind of like when you cut your finger and it's inflamed, it hurts and you don't want to use it. When your cell is inflamed, it doesn't work right. It's like the cell receptors don't work, like a granddaddy wasn't hearing grandmother because he had just become immune to her voice. Now, not all the time, but sometimes, I remember, sometimes that happened. So, here's a test for you. Do you know the hormone that tells your body to burn fat for fuel? It's called leptin. When they discovered this back in the 90s, they first thought, okay, we've got these people who are overweight, more and more and more people. And leptin is the hormone that tells your body to burn fat for fuel. Therefore, they must not have enough leptin. And that sounds logical, doesn't it? But thankfully, before they developed a leptin drug, which would not solve the problem, they have a test to test leptin, a simple blood test. I can order it for you, and your doctor can order it. What they found is people who are very overweight had very, very high leptin. So think about that for a second. The body was screaming, burn fat for fuel. But the cell couldn't get the message because the hormone receptors were burned out because of cellular inflammation. So the solution is, let's heal the cell so that this leptin receptor can get the message. And then your body's going to start burning fat for fuel. So that is the problem. It's a hormone problem. Leptin is the hormone that tells your body to burn fat for fuel. So So I hope that that's been really good information for some of you, maybe something that you haven't heard before, and I hope that's maybe even made you think of some questions.